Welcome back, 307 on this pretty nice Wednesday afternoon. We are joined now by the Minister of Finance, Minister responsible as well for relations with English-speaking Quebecers, Eric Girard. Monsieur Girard, thanks so much for your time today.
Always a pleasure.
I want to run something by you and tell me what you think. So last week, the story was the SAQ had discovered, of course, that we had roughly $300,000 worth of American alcohol that had been pulled from shelves almost 6 months ago, about to go bad, and it was going to be dumped. Backlash was quick, and then the government, you came out and said, okay, we've come up with a better plan, which I think most people agree is a better plan, which would be to donate it to various charities, social organizations, schools, etc. But that begs the question, what happens to the other $27 million of alcohol that was pulled from shelves because it's American alcohol, and this was what we retaliated with for tariffs? And I thought, well, wait a sec, we just had our own Prime Minister, Mark Carney, last week say, you know what? All retaliatory tariffs are now off the table, with the exception of the 3, aluminum, steel, autos. Everything else, we're waiving our retaliatory tariffs. And I thought, given that, isn't this the opportunity then for Quebec to say, well, okay, in the spirit of what we heard, federally, we're going to put all that booze back on the shelves. Is that why we're talking today? Is that what you're going to be doing?
Not today. Obviously, we're all looking for a positive conclusion to the trade negotiation. So in an optimal world, all tariff and all non-tariff counter-tariff measures are removed in due time. So currently, 8 provinces are still boycotting American products. It's a decision that was made in early March, and we could put these items back on the shelves altogether in due times, but this is not the right time. So, to be clear, we're selling other products in the interim, a lot of Quebec products, by the way. And we're in contact with the federal government and the other provinces that are in a similar situation. Nothing
okay.
new on this file.
Well, it's too bad. It spoiled my theory that that's what you're going to announce today here on the show, that all that American liquor is coming back on the shelves. Turns out that's not the case.
You know what? if we were to do that, I don't think it would sell. I think Quebecers we're still in a trade war. And as much as I'm a positive person, and our long-standing relationship with American, I'm always looking for a positive outcome. But I think when you see these products back on the shelf, it will be because we've made great progress in the negotiation.
So when we talk about great progress, give me an idea, if you can, what that means. As I said, we decided to drop retaliatory tariffs federally. What kind of progress would we need to see before that would be considered?
Well, in the case of Quebec, aluminum tariff are still at 50%. Softwood lumber, I believe the exact number is 34%. And of course, cars and steel and so non-USMCA products. In the news today, there was the small item exemption that has been removed, and so the federal government is leading the negotiation with the Americans. The USMCA has been beneficial to all parties, Mexico, Canada, the US. When you exclude energy products, the US has a trade surplus with Canada. So a positive outcome is for to resume the positive trade relationship that we had with the US and Mexico. And in due time, we'll coordinate the right actions. But there's no doubt that the lead for Canada in these negotiations is the federal government.
All right. I want to switch over, if I can, to the other hat that you wear, which, as I said off the top, is Minister responsible for relations with English-speaking Quebecers. Couple of stories in the news over the past couple of weeks. Let me start with LaSalle College. We were talking about this just a couple of days ago. $30 million fine by the Quebec government because they were basically too many English-speaking courses were being offered. What was your reaction to that?
Well, this is a complicated file. I understand that there are negotiations right now between the government and the college, and I'm not involved in the negotiation, and so I'm really limited in any comments that I could add to the debate. I think the school or courses resumed today or yesterday.
Yeah.
That's an excellent news for the institution, for the students, for the people who work there. Negotiations are ongoing. My understanding is that the government is speaking with the college, and so I'm on the sideline waiting for a positive resolution to this.
But I'm sure at the
conflict.
I'm sure at the same time you understand what reaction must have been from English-speaking Quebecers when they see that an institution here that's actually been around for many, many years is actually fined, and a substantial amount of money, 40% of their budget, they tell us, because they have too many students in English programs.
Well, again, my understanding is that they had clear knowledge of the law and that they did not respect the law for 2 consecutive years. But I would be, it would be really presumptuous for me to make any detailed comment on this file, just because it's not my file.
Okay.
I'm not involved, and I'm just extremely happy that courses have resumed, and that both parties are talking, and perhaps next time we speak, there is a positive resolution to this file.
Let's hope so. I will ask you just one other thing, because this was in the news as well not that long ago. I'm sure you're familiar, the situation with the Burgundy Lion, the OQLF visit, and then a day later or 2 days later, complete about-face by the OQLF. This follows, of course, the Go Habs Go situation from a while ago. What was your reaction when you saw this go on? I'm sure you must have heard from some Quebecers saying this seems so petty. And the OQLF, though, seems to be listening. So is that supposed to be a good step?
Well, your questions are on sensitive issues, and so the conclusion to this file is that the OQLF has changed its position, and I understand from your question that you're in full agreement with this final step. So I'm not sure what I can add.
Are you in agreement with that step?
I'm not in agreement with making a gesture that is. Am I in agreement? I respect the jurisdiction of the OQLF. So if the OQLF changes its mind after hearing the argument from the Burgundy Lion, then it's the right conclusion.
Okay, well handled. Let me ask another question here.
Okay,
yeah.
But
no, I get it.
I'm an expert in public finance and on the
know.
economy, and quite frankly, as much as the Burgundy Lion is an institution, I was made aware of this situation in the press. And if that's the only problem that we have, then we really have minor problems.
Fair enough. Can I ask you, because as I said, you wear a second hat with respect to English Quebecers, what do you hear? Because, when you first took on this responsibility, the idea was to have an ongoing dialogue and understand what the English community was dealing with here. What are you hearing these days from that community?
Well, I met a lot of youth. I went to the Bishop Forum just last week. The Bishop Forum is a leadership forum for young community leaders. I also met with some young people from the group that has changed its name. It's now called Talk. I'm looking for the old name, but you would know. And what I'm hearing is that English Quebecers want to be let me put the right word. They want to be included in the Quebec society and not be talked of outside of Quebec. So one I guess how I would best describe this, and it's for example, I was told that they do not appreciate when we say English universities, when we refer to Bishop, McGill, and Concordia. And as you know, I'm a McGill graduate. Mm-hmm. And so they said, how about we just say that they are Quebec universities? Why do we need to say that they are English universities? So it's a fair comment. It's the institution of the English-speaking community. The people that live in Quebec are Quebecers, and their institution are institution of Quebec, and they would like to be referred as such. And I think it's really a message. We're here. This is our home. We're part of Quebec, and we would like to be included in the reference when we speak of Quebec. They would like us to acknowledge that there is an English-speaking minority, and it's that's part of the dialogue.
You might want to mention then to Jean-François Roberge that this idea of saying I hear too much English on the streets of downtown Montreal is not a way to necessarily enamor himself to the English community.
Well, I think the best way to pass that message would be for you to invite him.
He's more than any time at all, Monsieur Girard. Let him know he's welcome on the show. I have to wrap up. I'm going to be late. I want to ask you one last thing. We know there's going to be a cabinet shuffle. Are you going anywhere?
I certainly did not ask to. I'm committed to my responsibilities. Net debt to GDP today at 40% is lower than we came to power. When the Liberals were in power, it was 43%. It's currently 40%. We had to do massive investment in infrastructure. 65% of the increase of the debt is associated with infrastructure. And we're going to keep investing in infrastructure, but we will also go back to balanced budget in 29-30 to the benefits of all Quebecers.
Okay. I will leave it at that. As always, I appreciate your time. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much.